Why y'all so happy?
You don't know? Charvette Mitchell is on the radio.
It's time to get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Charvette Mitchell.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia. But guess what? Heard all across the world wide web. Hey, we are super excited to have you joining us here for another phenomenal show. And so, listen, thank you for those that are already on the phone lines. We see you. Hey, thank you for joining us. For those that are tuning in from Twitter, those that are coming in from Instagram, hey, Instagram family, those that are coming in from Facebook, and certainly all of our broadcast stations, we appreciate you. And, of course, we can't leave out those that are listening in from Charvette.com and my mobile app listeners. We love you guys. So let me tell you what is going on with today's show. My first guest, she's hanging out in the virtual green room right now, just ready to get up to the mic. I know she's enjoying some virtual snacks back there. And, listen, we're going to be talking to Mona J of Dream Designs Graphics, and I'm really excited. If you know anything about me, have any connection to me, I'm always talking about branding and your brand and your image, at least your online brand, and marketing and social media and web design and all that kind of stuff. So I have a graphic artist with us today. Everybody needs a graphic artist in their life, and so we're going to talk about that. Certainly those that are in business, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, ministries. We're going to talk about why you need a graphic artist in your life, tips for working with a graphic artist. What does a graphic artist do? What are things you can do to kind of boost up your brand? So we're going to give you all that good stuff in the first segment. But then, listen, you want to hang out with us because the second segment, backed by popular demand, I have professional speaker, best-selling author, and life transition coach michael-sunnarborg joining me back again. Listen, he came and chatted with us about balance before, and he is back to talk to us about his brand new book that's out called The White Box Club Handbook. You all know that white box that if for some reason you get let go from your job, they bring this white box over and they tell you to pack your things up. Well, listen, he has written a book that's going to really give you some hope and encouragement and inspiration if you have been laid off or unemployed or really just making a career transition. We're going to talk to him. We're going to talk to Michael about that. So, listen, I have tweeted, I have tagged, I have Facebooked all of our guests, so go ahead and connect with them while you're hanging out here. And we're going to go ahead and jump right on into our first segment again. Mona J, I love it because she, on her Facebook and on Instagram, she'll refer to you as Dreamers. And so I love that. So we're bringing her up to the mic right now. Hello, Mona J. Welcome to the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Excited, dreaming as always.
Yes. So listen, let's jump in. So tell us why you decided to name your company Dream Designs. What is it about that dream piece?
Well, I mean, even as a little girl, I'm always dreaming. Every time I go to sleep at night, I have a dream. And when I was little, I used to look forward to nap time because I could control my dreams. I could build things and things like that. So I immediately became kind of obsessed with making what happened in my dreams reality. And then with seeing other brands, other businesses, I can envision what a successful brand looks like, what a successful business looks like. And so what I do is I dream, I imagine as much as possible, and then I try to create what I've envisioned in my mind, especially in partnering with clients, to see if we can make the ultimate dream a reality.
And you know what? I think that is such a great description because oftentimes when people come to a graphic artist or anyone really in the arts, you have to have the imagination because oftentimes the person or the client is kind of like, I'll know it when I see it, or I can tell you the colors I want, and then that's about it.
Right.
But you are really focused on, I like that your bio says, ideas are my specialty. Talk a little bit about that. Yeah.
I have I have always had ideas. I can remember walking into, let's say, a church service, and I would have an idea. Well, this would make that better. They should put this song here. Well, what if this background was red? And so, in general, growing up, I was always very creative. But I tell people all the time, I was a creative born through the womb of a realist. My mom is a realist. She's very organized. And so I'm grateful that I was birthed through her because she didn't, put my creativity in a box, but she connected it to order. So I have this kind of like creative, abstract chaos in my mind, but in being birthed through my mom, I was able to put it in order. So she would say, hey, Mona, you can draw, but you have to draw after you do your homework. Hey, Mona, you can paint, but you can paint after you do the dishes. And so she would look at my paintings, look at my drawing, and say, well, what did you mean? So as an artist, I've become a master of taking what is in super reality, I guess, and bringing that to reality in a very clean and clear way. Because as a designer, a lot of designers are very abstract, and it's great and it's creative. But if you're talking about branding, it has to be clear. It has to be understood by your audience. And so what I strive for as a graphic designer is to be as creative as possible, but in communicating those concepts and ideas to be as clear as possible.
Oh, that's good. That's good right there. And you certainly you've worked with big companies, small companies, individuals, entrepreneurs, churches, organizations. So you had certainly a plethora of experiences just with working with people. So let's talk about, there may be some people listening that don't know what a graphic designer is or does. So let's just clarify. Let's just make sure everyone's on the same page. What is a graphic designer, and what are the types of things that a graphic designer does?
I believe a graphic designer is someone who really exposes ideas in a creative way. I've worked with clients who have ideas for products, who have food ideas, church ideas, and my job as a designer is to expose their vision in a unique way, and not just unique and not clear. It has to be unique, which means it has to stand out, and it has to be clear so that when people see it, when they see Dream Designs, when they see Walmart, we know Walmart because of how the logo looks. We know McDonald's because of the golden arches. So it has to be memorable, and it has to stand out amongst all the other industries in that market. So a graphic designer takes the ideas that he or she has, merges them with what the client envisions for their brand, and they come up with a creative way to market and expose that. So that's what I strive to do. And I feel like every business needs a good graphic designer that does two things. One, and this is what I would say is one of my biggest successes, I listen, Charvette. When my clients talk to me, I listen to their heart, I listen to their vision, and in doing that, it allows them to pour all of what they envision for their brand to me. And then in my merging that with my creativity, I don't get lost. I don't get too abstract. I don't stray away in creating their banners, their flyers, their social media graphics and things like that, because I remember what they envision, and I merge it with what I have creatively to put an interesting spin on it. It's like taking their cube and tilting it to the left just to make it stand out so that when other people see it, they're like, oh, wow, and they want to know more. As a graphic artist, if people don't see your design and want to know more about the business or brand you're designing for, I feel like you failed your client. It should be enough for them to know what it's about, to know, hey, I'm interested in this business and what more goes on in that business. And we do that through flyers. We do it through, I have something called Insta Flyers. It's like a flyer for Instagram. I do it through websites, CD covers, book covers. I've done murals. It can be done with anything graphic, but it's about taking what is verbal, like we're talking right now with our words, making it visual, but still having the same, if not more, impact.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. If you just tuned in, hey there, you are listening to Mona J of Dream Designs Graphics, and certainly you are getting nuggets here. And again, I mentioned on Facebook when I posted this, everybody needs a graphic designer in their life. You know, like Tamar Braxton says, get your life with a web designer, a graphic designer. So let's chat a little bit about what people need to have kind of ready when they come to a graphic designer. So if they know, okay, I need a flyer, I have a seminar I'm promoting. Let's just use that as an example. I have a seminar, some type of seminar I'm promoting. It's paid registration, and I'm going to be promoting it online, through my email, through my website. How should someone come to a graphic designer? What should they have ready when they come to a graphic designer?
Ideally, I would say they should have some sort of vision. And I know, vision is a big word. A lot of clients come to me and they don't have vision. But what they do have is a measurable result. For instance, some clients still come to me and they say, Mona, I want people to see my graphic, and I want them to be thoroughly impressed with what they see, and I want them to know more. Other clients come to me and say, hey, Mona, I want them to be able to look at all of my graphics, and it all looks streamlined, which means the website matches the flyer, and the flyer matches the T-shirt design. So it needs to be some kind of vision, what you want your audience to gain from what they see about you visually, whether it's online or through a flyer or a postcard or something in the mail. So I would say you have to come with a vision. The second thing is you got to come with a budget. You have to know how much you're willing to invest in obtaining that particular result. And what I like to specialize in is, I'm trying to see, more impact and less capital. So I try to give my clients the most impact with what they want without having to have a huge amount of money. And by doing that, what we do is we fuse social media with graphic art. Because graphic design really is about, painting and art, but we use social media to get that exposure. So you see, that graphic or that visual means nothing if people don't see it. So you can have a great flyer, and it can sit on your desk all day long, but if it's on Instagram, if it's on Facebook, if it's on Twitter, then you're exposing yourself to audiences and viewers that would ordinarily not see your business. And so what you want to do is you want to capture their attention, and ideally you want to weed out those who would not be interested, and you want to, the ones who are interested, you want them to want to know more. So you got to come with vision, and I would say come with a budget, and come with some expectation.
All right. And come with some expectation. And you know what? You are all stepping all in my notes. I'm in the middle of a group coaching program that I'm hosting called Facebook for Entrepreneurs, and I talk a lot about graphics and a lot about pictures and how the statistics show that on social media, a picture is going to get like 50% more exposure and engagement online than perhaps just like sitting down and typing in a status update. So you are all in my notes, all in my notes. All right. And so certainly shouldn't they have, so we've got the vision and we've got the budget. Should they, so then the next step, when you're working with a graphic artist, shouldn't you have like all of the details that you want on the flyer and any pictures that you have that you want included? Shouldn't they have that ready as well?
I would agree. I would say yes. And a picture is worth more than 1,000 words. If you have an awesome photographer or videographer or some kind of visual, that makes the job of the graphic designer that much more easier. So you have to have, like I said, some content. What do you want your flyer to say, and what do you want your flyer or graphic to emulate? Beyond what it says, what do you want? The moment people look at your graphic, what do you want them to feel? And honestly, in starting graphic design, I was tasked with what I would call more unorthodox situations. For instance, clients who were a part of churches would want a flyer that would emulate that club atmosphere to incite people to say, hey, we're going to have a Jesus party, or this church service is not in the regular confines of a church service. So as a designer, I was completely enthused because now my creativity or ideas as far as church, they're expanding. So the church flyer doesn't have to have a cross or a pulpit. It could have lights and glow streams. And now people, parishioners who look at the flyer say, hey, I want to go to that church. Cool. So I want to turn up. And so I think it's important to have those. No, it's important to, one, have what you want your graphic to say verbally, and then also have what you want your viewers to feel the moment they look at your graphic. Do you want it to be informative? Do you want it to be insightful? Do you want it to be compassionate? I've done flyers for people who feed the homeless. You want that flyer to really pull on the heartstrings of those. So for those kind of flyers, Charvette, you're not going to have a lot of light and glow. It's going to be serious. It's going to be full of love. And so the graphic designer has to feel not only what you want it to say, but what you want that graphic to emulate. when they see it.
All right. Yes. Yes, continue. Yes.
Yeah, it's important for clients to have both. And honestly, it's okay if you don't have any. Honestly, as a graphic designer, I'm okay with clients who don't know what to say, but they know what they want their audience to feel. Because we can work on verbiage. And statistics show that a lot of times, just like you said, in our day and age, people don't read. I mean, at best, they text.
They don't.
And I'm coming out of the world of teaching. I was a high school chemistry teacher. In fact, I still do tutoring, stuff like that. And so I had great success in the classroom because with students, I was highly visual. You know, I drew molecules. I had students who would otherwise score poorly on tests. I remember having students who were diagnosed with special ed who would pass the chemistry SOL, and people were like, well, how is this student who has trouble reading, who has trouble writing, pass the chemistry SOL, which is a higher level science? Well, it's because this student doesn't have to communicate with me verbally. I allow that student to say, hey, Ms. Baldwin, I can't define what the molecule of carbon is, but I can draw it. So on the test, they now have a bridge between what is visual and what is tangible in terms of words. And so as a graphic designer, I do the same thing. Since I know most audiences are not going to read a long post, if I could summarize a brand in one 5x8 graphic, then I'm going to get more response for that brand from those viewers by emulating visually what can be seen about that brand. So I understand, and this is what I would give to all graphic designers. We have to understand the day and time we live in. It's all about pictures, it's all about graphics, and it's about less words and more visual. But, Charvette, the visual has to be clear. A lot of websites are cluttered. A lot of flyers are cluttered. A lot of Insta flyers have way too much information. You want to wet the taste buds of your audience. You don't want to give away. You can't describe your whole brand. Your whole brand should be discovered. It should be investigated. It should be explored. So you want to give your audience just enough to say, hey, learn a little bit more about Dream Designs. Learn a little bit more about Charvette Mitchell. Learn a little bit more about Teach Like Jesus. Learn a little bit more about my church. And once you get them to the website, then you have a system in place to really bring home what your vision is.
Yes, you cannot include 30 pages of content on one flyer that is 5x7, and I see people trying to do that. It's like the flyer can't hold all of, like they want all of this background information. You know, you see it, and then you can't even read the flyer. So if you go to Instagram, you're like, well, I wanted to go to that event, or I wanted to maybe register for the seminar, but I can't even see the website. It's so small because they had to cram all this other stuff on the flyer. So bottom line is that's not what you want. And I love how you just put it. You want people to explore. They should want to explore your brand. And then your website is really the place that's your hub, your communication hub, where you can fully display all the information that you want. Whoa. Okay, awesome. So while people are listening, Mona J, tell them how they can connect with Dream Designs online and all that good stuff.
Okay, great. Well, the website is dreamdesignsgraphics.com. So both designs and graphics have an S on it. So dreamdesignsgraphics.com. Of course, we're on Instagram at Dream Designs, Twitter, I am Dream Designs. But if you go to, like Charvette said, if you go to my website, it's a little, high tech. Excuse me, just because, we kind of live on the cutting edge here at Dream Designs.
Right.
But you can go to the website. It's a great place to start. And another thing about our business, and I'm not sure if graphic designers do this, but I am very personable. For instance, I love to talk to clients. We have staff here who, if you don't like the website or you don't like going online, because we have some clients who are like, look, I don't really know technology, but I know what I want. Feel free to call us, and the number is 757-510-1014. Again, that's 757-510-1014. You can text us, you can call us, and we'll walk you through your brand. And a lot of times we don't do that. That consultation is included. There's no additional fee because I get joy from happy clients. I get joy from seeing people's brands come to life. That's my whole purpose, is to make those dreams reality. When I see a client say, this is the flyer, I don't know what you did, but you captured my exact vision, that gives Dream Design purpose, because that is our purpose. Our purpose is to take your dream and make it a tangible thing, whether it's a flyer or an Insta flyer or business cards or whatever it is. So Dream Designs Graphics is the website. You can call us. You can reach out to us, and I guarantee you we're going to be up and in your face and talking to you about your brand, and we're going to be pulling out all the stops to make sure we get the most out of what you envision, the most out of your ideas.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, I love it. So I want to put a pin back in something you said around pictures. And anyone that has known me for any period of time, I'm always talking about you really need professional pictures. You absolutely, entrepreneurs, small business owners, nonprofits, ministries, you really need professional pictures. If someone takes a picture, let's say with a selfie with their cell phone, is it how hard is it to manipulate to really make a good graphic design from that?
Oh my God. I have been waiting my whole life, Charmaine, for somebody to ask me this question.
Yes,
and I'm
not
going to get on my soapbox. But it is like pulling tooth and nail to get the most out of that photo. Now, what I will say is that with the new iPhone 6 and other newer phones, the cameras are definitely up to par. But with the selfie, of course, we use that front camera, and that front camera is not nearly as clean and crisp as the cameras that are on the back. And most people don't have a selfie stick. They don't have a partner in the room to take that picture with them. So I would, first of all, caution against the cell phone pictures, because as a graphic designer, it just makes it hard. But if you are going to use your cell phone, I would just mention, please use the back camera, because that one will be more quality. Also, too, the investment in terms of getting a professional photographer is worth it every time, because those are pictures that you can use throughout your branding. But you don't want to have a consistent branding with horrible pictures. And if you think about industries now, we're in it. As much as people say it's ministry, it's my brand, your brand is in an industry where there's competition. And I can assure you that there are other similar brands that have the funds to get those pictures. So before you, as an entrepreneur, when you make your first step, you want your first step to be the most impactful. So I would say to any entrepreneur, to any up-and-coming motivational speaker, life coach, church, you must, it is a requirement to at least get a 1-hour session with a photographer to get some great photos. Great photos make my job easier, and it affords me the opportunity to be that much more creative because I have a clear picture. But if I spend 90% of my time cleaning up your picture because there was somebody with a chicken sandwich in the background and it's fuzzy, well then, because being honest, I've seen some things. And at Dream Designs, what we do here is I have a photographer on staff. A lot of times I'll say, look, I can do your flyer. I can do your Insta flyer. But before we do that, could I suggest that you take a 1-hour session with our photographer here with Photo Me Photo, and we will work with you about getting that, because going forward, we'll have a data bank of video footage, of photography, of pictures that we can use on anything. And so a lot of clients will say, hey, thank you, Mona J. I appreciate that. We're going to start there. Now, once we get that photo, it's on then, Charvette. I mean, the sky is the limit. Because we have a professional tone to what we do. And a lot of this started because I've experienced a lot of good things that have no exposure. I've been at a lot of churches who are doing positive things in the community, but no exposure, or their exposure is subpar. Your brand should be represented accurately. That's another thing we are about at Dream Design. If you are a business of excellence, and you're excellent in beauty and skincare, your flyer should exude excellence. Your website should exude excellence. And a lot of times there are people in our communities who are doing phenomenal things. But to be honest, Charvette, they got a crappy flyer. They have a horrible website. And what happens is you need parishioners, you need to solicit the public to support your cause. But they're not going to support something that looks raggedy and tacky. They want to support what is on the cutting edge. They want to support vision. They want to support ideas. So we want to give them vision. We want to give them ideas through your graphic. And that starts with a great photo. It has to start with a great photo.
Yes, you listen. You are preaching. You are preaching my sermon.
I'm not trying.
I'm telling you, it's so critical, and it's foundational stuff. Really, I mean, your pictures. Reiterating that your pictures. You're gonna need that for your website. You're gonna need that for your business card. You're gonna need that for your you need pictures really before you do anything else. So you really want to get that done, and then just as Mona just mentioned, then that's going to help the graphic artist really do a whole lot more and embed you properly in the brand. Yes. Okay, so welcome to all those that just joined us. We are chatting up here. This is a great segment, just talking about why you need a graphic artist in your life, what they do, what they can help you do, and these things really apply to any graphic artist. A good graphic artist, let me say it that way. A good graphic artist is going to bring these things to your brand. And so I know some people are listening, Mona, and they're saying, well, where are you located? Do you work with people out of state? Can you kind of answer that for them?
Oh, absolutely. Okay, this is pretty abstract, but we are located in the land of creativity. That's where we are. So if you want creativity, you're going to find Dream Design. But our home base is on the East Coast. We're in Hampton Roads, Virginia. But we actually work with people worldwide. So if you're listening and you speak Spanish or you're German, we've worked with people all over the world. It doesn't matter where you are. If you go to our website, if you call our number, we can do that too. So if your graphic is based in the States or your business is based in the States, that's great. We get most of our clients from, America. But if you are out of the country or internationally, we work with people like that as well or businesses like that as well. So honestly, there's no set location. We exist in Dreamland because we want to make those dreams reality.
All right, Dream Designs Graphics, S on the designs, S on the graphics.com. And again, if you're hanging out on charvette.com, I have a great blog post about Mona, and we've got the link right there to the website. Also, we have tagged in Facebook and Twitter and also on Instagram, so easy connection points there. All right, so my final question for you, the goal of my show is to motivate, excite, and influence, and we want to know what continues to motivate you.
Oh, wow. What continues to motivate me is, so much. I want to see a better world, and I look for businesses and brands that need help and who are doing positive things. Of course, we work in a real world where it's about industry and it's about money. I get that. But what motivates me is really finding businesses who have a great vision and giving that vision exposure. And I think that's what makes our world a better world. It's those great ideas from, Einstein to Mozart. Those were people who were counted out. Those were people who were too abstract for others to understand. But even with Mozart, in his music, we got to understand what his vision was. With Einstein, with his physics equations, we understand about energy. So I love what motivates me and inspires me is finding those businesses who have great vision for what they see for their demographic or for their community and giving them a creative, innovative platform to stand on to tell the rest of the world, look over here. Look at this business who's doing something positive in the community. Look over here at this church. It looks like a building, but what we're doing is we're healing hurting people. We're a liaison for people who are destitute and without hope. Or even for somebody who says, hey, Mona J, I have a great idea, but I don't know how to streamline my marketing. To see that person go from 100 likes to 1,000 likes. To see engagement on our Instagram posts. We are about results. We love results. And with my clients, I constantly refer back, how's your Facebook page doing? How are your likes? How many likes did this post get? Because if we're not getting results, then we're going to go back to the land of creativity. We're going to create a brand new dream. And that's what I love about being creative. There are no limits. You try things. You take risks. You make investments, and you assess what's the worthwhile investment. And almost every time, and I feel it on me, girl, I'm trying not to go there, but it's really a leap of faith. You have to believe in yourself. If you're a believer, you have to believe in God and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to get out of this boat. I'm going to get out of this box of what it says has to be the brand for beauty and hair care, what has to be the brand for life coaching. I'm going to do something different. And what I'm saying to those of you who are listening, if you want to do something different, you need to contact Dream Designs because that's where we specialize. We specialize in the creative. We specialize in the different, and we specialize in making that clear to the public. So what motivates me is to
Wonderful.
see results and everything like that.
Yes. I love it. And, the last thing I'm going to say is I applaud you because you all do run specials, often, very frequently. So
Yes.
so people are able to experience you at all varying price points. And so I think that's really a testament to you right there. Well, it's been great having you, Mona J, on the show, and certainly we'll stay connected. And I have appreciated graphic design work that I have done with you. So I can shout you out personally. I have done some graphic work with you, and we appreciate you here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. All right, listeners, listen, you don't want to move. We're going to be moving right into our second segment. We just got a few quick commercials, and then we are back by popular demand. Listen, he's a professional speaker, a best-selling author, a life transition coach, spanking brand new book out, The White Box Club Handbook, and I'm telling you what, it was written to give you hope and encouragement and inspiration if you are going through a job loss, a layoff, some type of unemployment, or even a career transition. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up to the mic right after these quick commercials, we're going to be chatting with michael-sunnarborg. Yes, right here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Don't you move.
It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Sharvette will be back after this.
Spiritual Food for Thought, 31 inspirational quotes to jumpstart your day by LaTanya Boyd, consists of inspirational messages that offer daily words of empowerment, promote spiritual growth and development in the Lord Jesus Christ for your day-to-day living. Spiritual Food for Thought, 31 inspirational quotes to jumpstart your day. Available now on Kindle, ebook, and paperback. Log on to www.latboyd.com.
Hello, we are 123jobzone.com, an online job search portal. We are user-friendly, and if you're searching for a job, with us, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Go to www.123jobzone.com and register as a job seeker. Step 2. Once registered, upload your resumes. Step 3. Get connected with employers looking for people like you who are ready and willing to work. Don't forget to follow 123 Job Zone on Twitter and Facebook to find out more about our upcoming job fairs. What are you waiting for? Stop by 123jobzone.com today. Good luck with your job search.
She's here to motivate, excite, and influence you. She's Sharvette Mitchell. It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show with in-depth interviews from today's leading authors, gospel artists, stars that you want to know about. And now, Sharvette Mitchell.
All right, welcome back again. This is your girl, Sharvette Mitchell, broadcasting from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia. But guess what? Heard all across the World Wide Web. Hello to all of our Twitter followers, those that are on the phone lines. We see you hanging out, listening to the show. We thank you so much. Certainly all those that are coming in from Facebook, from Instagram, from LinkedIn, my LinkedIn family. I won't leave you out. Thank you. All right, so we are jumping right on in to our next segment. Here I'm running to the virtual green room to bring my guest up to the mic right now on air with us. Michael, hello. Welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Welcome back.
Hey, Sharvette. It's nice to see you again in virtual world.
Yes. Listen, I hope you enjoyed some virtual snacks while you were in the virtual green room, right?
Oh, I sure was, and I was sure enjoying Mona talking about the graphic artistry, because I'll tell you, as an author, I rely on my graphic artists to put forth that image for my brand, and that's right, it pulls people in, so she had a lot of great points.
Yes. Awesome. All right. So listen, last time we chatted, we were talking about balance, and our listeners really had a lot of great response from that. But now we have a different topic today. So let's chat about your new book, The White Box Club Handbook. Tell us about the title.
Well, it is an interesting title, isn't it? And it's very unique because what happened is I've been a writer and a speaker for the last few years, kind of manifesting my dream as many of us are doing on the side of my full-time job or contract work. It's kind of, you got to put food on the table and gas in your tank while you're building your dreams, right? And things take a while to build. So I had this fantastic job working in technology, leading an education and training organization, and it's kind of what I've done, for many years. And then write about balance on the side and my adventures and journeys. Well, one day I got to work, and I was called into a conference room along with several others, and we were told that our jobs were eliminated as of the moment. And we were all given that speech, that the business had changed and that all of us in that room were no longer a part of it, and that we were terminated effective immediately, and that we would be given severance and pay, and that we could go outside the conference room door to the front desk, and they had boxes for us to go back and pack up our things and then leave within the hour. So it was the white box and pack up your stuff and you're done. And so I basically packed up my things, and there was not much of it that was really mine because I built it for the company. So you pack up your pencils and, your little Rubik's Cube things that are sitting on your desk, or you clean out that drawer with all the sugar packets and, like your chocolate from last Christmas. You kind of take your stuff that's yours and you walk out the door and you're done. And there's nothing that can describe that feeling of being laid off. So I just said, you know what, I just joined the White Box Club. And I had several friends who had also been given that same white box recently. So I was part of the club. Yeah.
Part of the club. And you know what, I think, it's great that you can, turn around and say, you know what, I need to, this club, this exclusive club that I have become a part of, let me turn around and help, someone that's coming up behind me with these experiences. And oftentimes with things such as a job loss or job transition, it doesn't matter if you were there a day, it doesn't matter if you were there 25 days, it's all, everyone ends up in the same club. So tell us about once you had this transition, did you know what your next steps would be? Were you just kind of sitting there like, what do I do? How was it for you?
You're absolutely right. I didn't have any idea what I was going to do. And in fact, I just sat in my car in the parking lot for about 20 minutes. Put my box in the trunk and sat in my car, and I thought, I have no idea what to do. It just was such a shock. And so it was 9 o'clock, in the morning on a Friday afternoon, and I thought, that was an interesting twist to my day. So I decided to just drive home. Well, just go home, right? Don't know what else to do. And I called my mom on the way, and my parents live a few hours from me. And she said, why don't you just drive all the way home to our house for the weekend? And I said, you know what, that's a great idea. So I just drive home. And then what was interesting is the processing around it is different for everyone, but it's such a shock. And so basically what happened was over that weekend at home with my parents and helping to kind of process with them, and they were as shocked as I am, what I did is I started to write a blog because I'm a writer, and I process by writing. And so I wrote a blog called The White Box Club, and it was basically that story that I just told you about getting the notice and getting the box and saying, now what? And that was my question, now what? And I didn't have an answer for it yet. And I thought, I'm just going to stay there. My mom said, why don't you just stay with that? And she had such great advice. She always does. Moms do. And I instead of writing the solution and saying, I've got the book for it, which I haven't even thought of yet, I thought, I'm just going to sit with this. And then when I came back the next week from being home that weekend, I thought, I have to do this with other people. And I formed the White Box Club meetups, which started to meet the next month in June, started meeting every 2 weeks. And I got free library space, and I went to meetup.com and built a meetup group called the White Box Club and said, I want to go through this with other people so we can all learn together. And then I thought, you know what? The blogs I'm writing look like chapters, and the chapters can be the handbook, and it just happened all at the same time. And 6 months later, the book came out.
My goodness. So I love how you have the book broken down. So there's 3 main parts. So part 1 is awareness, the now what. And then part 2 is alignment, get to know yourself. And then part 3 is activation, make it happen. And so let's talk about the part 1. There's a section called the power of grieving. And oftentimes when people think of the word grief, it is not necessarily a job loss, but actually it is a grieving process, isn't it?
Oh, it most certainly is. It is a grief. And you know what's interesting is that people don't really think that losing a job is necessarily a reason to grieve, but it's a loss. It's a significant loss. And once something large like that, and I consider your job, your career, a major anchor. And I even have a chapter called, Losing Your Anchors. And what happens is big anchors are your home, your relationships, your job, your children, the things that you have. They're like anchors. They hold you down like a ship does, so that you feel that you are secured and you are held in place. And when you lose one of those, you tend to be set adrift like a boat. So I thought, there's got to be a way to understand how being adrift is part of the grieving process, because you just lost an anchor. Your job is an anchor. And so my whole point of the book was, this awareness was to, hey, stop for a moment and let yourself grieve. Stop for a moment and reach out to friends and family and let people help you. And think about deliberately how this is a powerful opportunity, but you need to go through it and allow it to happen. And that's really important, that we don't just ignore it and stuff it down, because those feelings need to be processed. And it's better to face something and walk through it than to try to ignore it or run around it.
Yes. Oh, that's good. That's good. And you know what, Michael? I can see someone else that has experienced some type of loss, maybe a bad breakup even, loss of a relationship you thought that was going to go another way. Some of the same principles could help them from the book.
Well, and absolutely. And, when we talked about my balance books, last year, my balance books are also based on the same awareness, alignment, and activation, the same 3-step process, except I use it more prescriptively, like when you're looking at your relationships or your work-life balance or your own life, your purpose and things. I encourage people to step back and become aware of the people in their lives, the environments that they're in, the work that they're doing, and then use that awareness piece the same way they would with their job. It's a very deliberate focus and consciously becoming aware of the influences around you and how they're either building you up or they're bringing you down, because that's going to really determine your success.
Awesome. So while listeners are tuned in and listening, tell them how they can get a hold of your book.
Yeah, well, there's a really easy way, and it's called the website, thewhiteboxclub.com, where you can find more information about the meetings and about the handbook links. And right now it's a small page because this is just in its infancy, but later on there'll be more links on that page to opportunities for White Box Club meetings, hopefully in other cities and other areas, and even online. If you wanted to become a member of the White Box Club online, you could still go through the curriculum that we go through and the meeting information from the comfort of your own home. So that's one thing I'm got in my works with my team to create this year is a virtual White Box Club. And also, my books are on Amazon, so you can go on Amazon and look up the White Box Club or my name, michael-sunnarborg, and you can find my books there as well as my balance books in ebook and paperback format.
All right, there you go. Okay, so let's chat, some more about some of the things that they will find and discover in the book. Any other key points you want to make sure you let listeners know about?
Yeah, so we talked about awareness, and I'm glad you brought that up, because often the first step, awareness, is becoming aware of what's working and what's not working in your life, what is adding to your life and what's taking away from it. And this is a really simple exercise, but it's not necessarily easy to look at your life and to think carefully about, what are the things I really want that aren't happening in my life right now, and what are the things that I really want that are. And deciding what you like and what you don't like is a constant daily decision, but those choices are so critical because you have this immense power of choice. That is your greatest gift, is your power to choose. And in every moment, you can choose which direction you're facing. You really can say, you know what, I don't think so, not so much. Or you can say, yeah, I really, really want that, and that's awesome, and step towards it. And people forget that. They forget their power. So in the second part, which is alignment, what I really want people to do is, instead of running out there to try to find a job because I need to get money, because I need to get paid and I need to get all this fear takes over. I say, hold on, just stop, hold on, take a deep breath. Okay. Before you run out there and get a job for money, why don't you think, and we do it together in the White Box Club meetings and in the book, why don't you think carefully about who are you and what do you bring to the table? And what are really some of your goals? What do you really want to do? What do you do that makes you feel really, really good, about your last job or a new job? And then let's get really clear about that. And I have some great tools. I have a personal priority grid, which is super simple, but it gets you really clear on the things that you don't want because, been there, done that. Got a million T-shirts of the things I don't want, right? But what I do want, that's not always easy to say, what do you want? And the clients that I coach go, I don't know. And I say, well, then let's sit here for a while and let's talk about it. Let's figure out what would really make your clock tick, because that's where we're going to start building and drawing your map. And that's that alignment piece. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And listen, we have actually a question from Facebook, author LaTanya Boyd, and she says, what made you really put pen to paper, like to write this book, that really just made you say, I got to do this. I got to put pen to paper and write this?
Well, as I had said at the beginning, I write the process, and I've done that since I was in high school. I was a foreign exchange student in high school. I'm one of those people that raises my hand and says, "Okay, I'll do it." At every function. And when the Rotary came and did the presentation when I was in 10th grade, who wants to be a foreign exchange student? My hat went up. I go, I'll go. Where? I don't care. Just send me overseas. And my parents gave me a journal. They gave me a blank journal book and said, write down your stories because this will be an exceptional experience for you. And so I started to write. So to answer her question, I just wrote down my feelings as I was going through this because that's what I do. And this is how I have written 5 books now and 3 bestsellers, because I write down what's really coming to me and through me at the time that it is. And I don't publish everything that I'm feeling, but that's why I have editors, right? They help me through and say, what are you really trying to say? And they help me say it in really poignant, golden words, so that I can get a lot more done in less time, and I don't have to write big, fat books. I can write simple, poignant books that get to the point. And so that's, pen to paper that's my process. This was a huge shock for me. And my way to process was to write about it. So it came naturally to blog and then to book it. That's just my process.
All right, I love that, and I'm so glad you mentioned your willingness to go live in other countries, because certainly you have lived in all different parts, Europe and Asia and South Pacific, and you are a professional photographer, so you've won awards for that, and even photos that have been licensed and sold by National Geographic. So how does that photography, that creative eye, add to the writing process?
That's really funny because I say I went from picture books to wordy books because my first book was a photo book. Kind of like a little kid. I went from picture books to words. My creative process was much the same way. I got a camera. Well, it was the same thing. When I moved to Finland in high school, my parents gave me a blank journal, and I bought an Olympus OM10, which was the best, biggest camera I'd ever had, and I learned to take pictures with this full, single reflex lens, I can't even say, SLR, this really cool camera. So when I went to India, I got a digital camera, a really nice SLR digital. And when I moved to India and I traveled to 16 countries in 12 months, I took 14,000 pictures to document my experience. Yeah, so like my writing, it was the visual documentation of all of this beauty that I was experiencing. And so I entered into the National Geographic photo contest, one of their contests, global, and I was a finalist. I was a top 25 finalist or something. And so now they licensed 2 of my prints. So it was a really fun, unexpected outcome.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, my goodness. We have another question from Facebook. Who is your, let's see, do you have a favorite author that inspires you? Do you have a favorite author that inspires you?
I do. I have several, but one of my favorites is Neil Donald Walsh, and he really inspired me to think more about my spirituality in different ways, because I've lived in so many different countries, and I lived in Hawaii for years, I lived in Europe, I lived in Asia, what was interesting is that I've been exposed to so many cultures and so many different iterations of spirituality and of acceptance, and he really shifted me in my whole perspective about spirituality. And so he's one of my favorite authors that I still follow because of that.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Thank you. So jumping back to the book in that part 2 alignment, so to tie in our first guest, dreams, and Mona talked a lot about just how she transforms dreams. One section of the part 2 of your book has dreaming out loud. What do you mean by that, dreaming out loud?
Well, she had hit it right on the head, too. The idea, when Mona talked about dreaming, the dreaming piece of us, I have a favorite meme, by the way, that I posted on Facebook the other day that someone had circulated. It said, "Don't quit your daydream." And I was like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a
I like that.
Don't quit your day job. Yeah, the idea of dreaming out loud is that we forget when we're kids, when we're children, we dream all the time. We daydream, and we court the muse of what could be. It's possibility thinking. And what I wanted to uncover in that chapter was, as adults, we often forget about possibility thinking. We forget about that. We think, oh, that's crazy, that's silly. We don't have to dream about things. But really, it's the same as when we're a child. We can, we should, we have to dream about what we want to create, because we are the creators of our own reality. Whether you know it or not, you are creating your reality by what you think about, what you focus on, what you talk about, and what you dream about. So you need to be really conscious of what you're consciously focusing on, because whatever you focus on is going to expand and become part of your reality. It's the way the universe is built. So the dreaming process is critical and essential.
All right. Wonderful, wonderful. Once more, and again, let listeners know how they can get a hold of your book.
Yeah, well, there's a couple different ways. The fastest way is just Google the title or go to thewhiteboxclub.com, and you'll find it there, or Google the White Box Club Handbook, and you'll find links to it on Amazon. And it is in Kindle version and in print. And then also, if you just Google my name, Michael-Sunnarborg, or Michael Thomas Sunnarborg, long Swedish name, but you'll have it on the site. Go ahead and you can go to my website. And in fact, if you go to my website, like my book, it's simple, it's very clean information, it's easy to follow. I really focus on simplicity and white space in a world of so much content. I want people to come to my site and read my books and be calm and be able to take a breath. So if you hit my website, you'll see links to my books and to my coaching and workshops. And also you can sign up for my mailing list, which is probably one of the best ways to stay in touch with me. And I send out little balance bits every couple weeks, little nuggets from my blogs. And my blogs are both short little stories about what happened today or what's on my mind and how I'm navigating through life just like we all are. So I just kind of share my stories every couple of weeks. And if you want to be on my mailing list, then you'll get it right in your email box.
All right, there you go, personal invitation. And so one other thing that caught my attention within part 3 of the book, or section 3, was redrawing your map. What did you mean by that? Share that with the listeners, redrawing your map.
So in part 3, the last part is activation. And I enjoy alliteration, which means I love using the same letter. So awareness, alignment, activation are my 3 A's, and it helps the brain remember things when things are similar in threes. And activation, I have a redrawing your map as the first chapter. I'm also talking about choices in your network and interviewing. This is getting into the kind of more the logistics of now what do I actually do after I've been thinking about who I am and bringing myself into alignment. And the redrawing your map is getting really clear, again, about what it is you want to do, but where you want to go and how you're going to get there. So it's kind of putting your plan into place. So you can explore your options. In other words, in the chapters, or section 2, I had you explore some of your passions and your intentions and your purpose. And then what you start to do is really prepare that activation process to start following those little nudges. And drawing your map is starting to write these things down and vision them. And I do a lot of flow charting and visioning when I write things down, because the idea of writing it down is that it changes form. So when I say redrawing your map, you actually have to put it down on paper. And a map has to be charted on paper or it doesn't exist. You know, the captain of the ship can't say, I know where we're going, it's all in my head, and expect everyone else to know where to go. He has to communicate his map in his head on paper so that other people can follow the same course. And that's where your network comes in. That's where, you know, with interviewing and resume support, you need to have concrete people and materials and process documented to help other people to follow your vision. And that's what redrawing your map is.
All right. I love that. I knew that you had something dynamic. When I saw that, I said, okay, there's something dynamic. There's something dynamic to this. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And on Facebook, listeners, I invite you to follow and like. I have 21 Days to Better Balance. 21 Days to Better Balance. Go ahead and click like, on that page. And that just gives you, you know what I like about it, Michael, is that you're absolutely right. Some of the things you just post is just makes you kind of clear your head. You know, you don't have these long, drawn-out posts. You just, something simple today. Kindness moves the soul. Be kind today. You know, just those quick, no, I won't be nasty and mean today. Just be kind today. Yeah.
I think of them as it's kind of like the little Twitter feeds, and they're like little instant messages. It's kind of like someone texts you and says, just thinking of you today. And it's like, you know what? That can make your whole day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
I love that.
So
and it's so fun to have that, someone thinking of you. And so sometimes a little tiny nugget of a little sentence can be much more powerful than a whole drawn-out letter. Yeah.
Yes, because people aren't reading it, or you're going to lose half of them anyway. All right. Listen, this has been a pleasure just chatting and catching up with you. I would love to hear what is continuing to motivate you. You know, the goal here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show is to motivate, excite, and influence, and we want to know what continues to be your motivation.
My motivation, especially now with the White Box Club, is to actually see people experiencing the power of their choices, that they see themselves as powerful and empowered, and that in a circumstance such as this, or any other life-changing circumstance, will give them the power to opportunity and create something from it. And I call it making lemonade. In fact, one of the last chapters is called Making Lemonade. And it's when life hands you lemons, make lemonade. That's been around, that adage has been around for a long time. But this is what I did. This is what I did with this, because this is a part of who I am. When I have a challenging situation, my first response is, how can I make this into an opportunity? And it isn't my first response, you know, that obviously there was a lot of grief and anger and denial, and that's why I had to go through that. But my first response to now what was, how can I make this better? And how can I turn this obstacle into opportunity, or this crisis into catharsis? How can I make lemonade? So when I see people doing that, I get motivated too.
All right, that's great motivation, And you see them making lemonade and not looking like they ate the lemons.
Well, then I laugh. I said, you know, when I was a little kid, my office was in the back of the classroom, and I just made lemonade, and then now I have a lemonade stand and I sell it. So there you go.
Oh, there you go. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much again for stopping by the virtual studio, and we have enjoyed chatting with you.
Oh, thank you, Sharvette. It is always a pleasure to chat with you.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right, listeners, guess what? That is going to wrap up another dynamic show. Again, if you came in a little bit late and said, I wanted to hear more of it, you can just jump over to Sharvette.com. There you'll be able to catch the replay and hear all of that. Certainly shout out to all of our rebroadcast stations where you will hear this all week long. And we appreciate you, those that came in from Twitter. Make sure you're following me, twitter.com/Sharvette. Connect with me on Facebook, facebook.com/Sharvette. Just hit the follow button. Very simple. If you're on Instagram and you're hanging out over there, Sharvette M, love to have you. And certainly LinkedIn, Sharvette Mitchell, right over there. I do want to give a shout out to Nicole Brown. She is hosting a nurses, Expo on this week, and you've heard about it all on the radio locally and all of that. And I am one of the speakers for social media, and I am working with and going to be talking to nurses that want to be authors and writers and entrepreneurs. I'm on that track. So if you're stopping by the Nurses Expo, make sure you stop by and say hello. All right? So check back with us next week as we bring you more phenomenal shows and great guests. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you have been listening to the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show. Connect with her at charvette.com. And until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. The Charvette Mitchell Radio Show. Signing off.